Welcome to Lubrication Across the Nation, presenting you with unique stories and conversations from across the country. We're always discussing things like working in the trades, sciences, and of course, art. But there's a lot more involved as well. So make sure to listen in. And it's all brought to you by Dynamic Green Products, DGP, bio-based, zero compromise. All right, welcome everybody to another episode of Lubrication Across the Nation, brought to you by Dynamic Green Products, bio-based and zero compromise. Get more information at changeyourOil.com. Here we are with my special guest of the day, Miguel Salazar, who is the owner-operator of Master Arbor Service in San Diego, California, and also a board member of Arboleros. You can find out more information about them at arboleros.org. It is the Western chapter. In conjunction with the ISA. Thank you for joining me, Miguel.
Hey, how's it going, man? Been waiting a long time for this.
Absolutely. Thanks for joining me. As everyone can tell who's watching this, you are taking a quick break out from the work site to join me for this interview. So thank you for that.
Yes, sir. Yes, we're out here grinding, and it's a busy day for us. We're about to take lunch. Just another day.
So, Miguel, you're on the job site, or just coming off the job site, I should say, down there in California. So what kind of work are you doing at the moment?
Yeah, so we're here in San Diego. This is San Diego, California, the city of La Jolla. We're doing a commercial job for a property management. Well, here what we're doing is restoration, crown restoration, and crown shaping. The thing is, sometimes with managers, they care more about the money and taking care of the money, and then they forget to take care of the trees. So that's where we come in. We make it happen. So that's what we're doing right now. There's plenty of trees right now, at least 80 trees that have been neglected for many years. So they're all broken, out of shape, overgrown. What we're doing right now is we are restoring that crown, making it thinner, make it have a little bit of shape,
yeah.
Structure. Yeah.
Coming in to save the day.
Yeah, coming in to save the trees, man. Yeah. Yep. Even trees need heroes, you know?
Right. Yeah. Exactly.
Yes,
how
sir.
long have you been doing tree work?
So I started very young. I was straight out of high school. I started when I was 18. Now I'm 29 years old. I began working with a landscaping company back in 2015, 16. And well, landscapers sometimes, they get customers that want to do a little tree here and there. So I started climbing palm trees back in the day. And yeah, that's how I started into this tree industry. But I wasn't just comfortable with landscaping and just staying there. I wanted more. I wanted to learn about trees because I love trees. When I grew up with my grandma at her house in Tijuana, Mexico, she had a lot of trees, fruit trees, very big, tall trees that I would climb. I would go up there and get the fruit, and I liked to learn about them. She taught me a lot about the trees, how to take care of them, how to prune them, how to get them ready for the season. And she did that because she just had the knowledge about, how to take care of trees because she wanted to have the production from it, the fruit from them. So she taught me these things, and it was very interesting. A lot of things that I grew up believing in and that I that are part of me. It came from my grandma. I grew up with her. So that's my story when I was a kid, and I began climbing trees. I actually studied psychology. I graduated from high school 4.0 and above, AP classes, honors classes, everything, accounting, finance. Uh, Went to college to study psychology, but I never liked being indoors. I'm more like of an outdoorsy kind of guy. I like nature. I always liked trees. Trees have always been part of my life. Starting with my childhood when I grew up with my grandma, and now it's my career. Now it's what I live for. That's that's what I'm doing right now, and I love it. Yes, sir.
And you started, obviously, getting into a start work for a company. How long have you had your own company?
Well, we began in 2020, right in the middle of the pandemic. Back in 2020, we were in the pandemic. Unfortunately, I was injured. My lower back, I had a teared disc, and then I had a teared meniscus on my right knee, and I couldn't move. I couldn't do anything, absolutely nothing. I couldn't even be on in bed without feeling pain. And my wife was pregnant. We had just gotten married. We got married in 2020. A lot of things happened in
Oh, geez.
2020. There's
Yeah, a lot of things.
a lot of things. And in my life, it was a struggle, but it was also a blessing. Uh, so it kept me isolated for a while. It gave me a lot of time to think about my life. Wife was pregnant. Uh, we had just gotten married. We spent a lot of money on that wedding. We had to pay off that debt. I was hurt. I couldn't work. We had to pay rent, our bills. I had gotten cars from the dealership, brand new, and the stress, the depression, even, it hit me really hard. I couldn't work, which was the biggest part of my stress and my depression. And as someone that studied psychology, I kind of just took the time to breathe, and calm down. And right away, I started thinking about the options. I couldn't work. Uh, I couldn't produce. I couldn't do the type of work that I was doing before as a production trimmer for bigger companies, biggest companies out here in San Diego. I've done it all with helicopters, with cranes, with you name it.
Hmm.
Uh, but I was hurt. It took the best of me at just 25 years old. So it was either, well, as a Hispanic and immigrant, sometimes, you get to grind a little harder. So back in the day, I thought, okay, a lot of arborists, they stay in offices. I don't like that. That's the main reason why I did not like psychology. I did not follow up with my college career. So it was either being an arborist, getting hired as an arborist, uh, or doing my own thing, getting people hired to do work for me. So I thought about that. If I get my contractor license, then I can hire 5, 10 arborists, as many as I can, and you know, provide for my family, provide for their families, do the right thing for me and them. I have the knowledge, I have what it takes, so why not, right? So that's what happened in 2020. A lot of things happened for all of us, but the beautiful thing about the tree service industry is that trees are everywhere all the time. They always need help. People always need help with the trees.
Yep.
We are considered first responders. Like for example, right now there's really bad weather. It's raining. It's stormy. There's a lot of wind. We get a lot of wind gusts that out of the sun they just come and break trees apart. So we have to come out and help out these people, and take care of their property. Uh, and Well, that kept me busy out throughout 2020. I had friends that helped me out. I had family that helped me out. And meanwhile, I was studying for a license, for a contractor license. I got my license within the year 2021. We started the company in 2020, made it official in 2021, and yeah, That's how Master Arbors Service started. And here we are, 5 years later, and more to
Nice.
come.
And are you still, so do you have plans with continuing to grow the company? Are you at a spot that you like the size or you want to grow it bigger?
Yeah, so I'm not greedy like that, but for example, we are growing and I think it's inevitable. But part of being our part being part of Arboleros uh, is you have the duty to educate people, and sometimes landscapers they get a lot of work, many properties, a lot, and they have more, they bite more than they can chew, and sometimes they don't know where to put all that mulch that they're getting rid of. I have at the last seminar we did in San Juan Capistrano here in California with arboleros, a lot of them were saying we don't have where to put all of our mulch, and prices are going up, and it's becoming overwhelming and crazy. Well, part of the problem is that you need to pace yourself and be a little more smart about it and more mindful. And I try to give tips. For example, what we do, we don't pay for our mulch, at least when it's not palm tree, because palm tree is considered trash here in California. Um, what we do, we go to stables, we go to farms, we go to places where they need the mulch to grow their crops,
Mm.
or to take care of the manure that their livestock is making, and
Yeah.
that stuff is biodegradable. So every year it recycles. They need it all the time. But if you have way too much of it, then it's overwhelming for everybody.
Yeah. It's
So
true.
sometimes you gotta let go of a few jobs here and there, and why not? I do it all the
That's the hard
time.
part, right?
So,
You're like when you come, you're
yeah,
because you
that's
want
the hard.
because
Yeah,
you want to take them, but yeah,
yeah. So that's where I'm going. I'm not greedy like that, but if if the opportunity comes and I am being forced to grow, then I do it. For example, we just bought a brand new chipper from Kyline Equipment. By the way, those guys are great. Uh, their machines are great. They're beautiful and they work perfect. We have a project right now that we are working on. We worked all throughout the summer since May. We ended in September. So we had the need to buy a new chipper because we had so much work to get done. And that allowed us to grow. Now we have a brand new chipper. Now we have more equipment. Now I need to hire more people. Now I need to train more people. So I do grow, but at my own pace that my company is needed by. I
yeah,
open
I
a
get that.
crew. I open a crew for the projects that we're getting. And another beautiful part of this industry is that, trees are always growing. So every year we come back, we get it done, we take care of them.
So yeah, so
And our
you're growing like more. You're growing as you need to instead of just focusing
Yeah,
on the
ins-
growth. You're just doing
instead
what
of
you need.
focusing on the growth.
Here's we need to
Because
do this for now. Yeah.
for example, we didn't pay that machine with credit. We didn't get a loan. We have the project for it. The project paid the machine within a few months. It's already paid off.
That's a good way. Yeah, that's a good way to do it. Is to because especially this time of year, there's a lot of debate on people buying equipment, or because it's the end of the year and they say, oh, I buy the equipment and I can use it on the taxes, but they don't understand really how it
Right,
works. And they end up with a bunch of payments that they won't
right.
find jobs for. Whereas you're doing it the
Yeah,
should be, find the job first, then make the equipment make sense instead of getting the equipment and then trying to find a job for it.
yep, yep. That's exactly right. So the project pays for it, and that's I think that's the smartest way to grow and be mindful about the trees and the environment, the properties, the value. of everything, the properties and my company.
Yeah.
Um, that gives the best image, I would say, because we're taking care of the trees for the trees. We're doing things for the trees, and not for our benefit
Mhm.
as greediness, you know.
Yeah. Yeah.
So yeah, so we try to educate people and tell them, you know, like, it's about the trees. At the end of the day, the heroes are the trees. We work for them, not they don't work for us.
There you
and,
go.
and I think, yeah, and that sometimes, you know, landscapers kind of forget that. And I see a lot of topping, a lot of trees that are being neglected. They just,
Yeah.
you know, get chopped because the managers just want something quick, something done fast. You can still do it quick and fast and save, but they don't educate themselves to get it done right. That's the thing.
That's the
So
key.
that's where arboleros come in because
Well, and talk a little bit about what Arboleros is for those who haven't heard of Arboleros before.
yeah. So arboleros is part of the Western Chapter International Society of Arboriculture. We are the Hispanic side. We are translating everything that the International Society of Arboriculture has into Spanish because the greatest part of the labor for the tree industry or landscaping industry are Hispanics,
Mhm.
Guatemalans, Salvadorians, Mexicans, you name it. They're all the ones that are getting it done. You know, sometimes people with their certificates, they work at the office and they make the minions work. And that's the case most of the time. It happened to me. It happens to most of the Hispanic people out here. Unless you are educated and have a really good background and you know what you're doing, like me, myself, then you can make your own path, you know.
Sure.
But it's really hard to get put in a place where you don't have the education. It's just not gonna happen. It's just not gonna happen. And you might get, you know, uh, people might take advantage of you because of that. And it happens. And it happens. And it happened to me, but it only happened once. You know what I'm saying?
Right.
Yeah.
Well, so in Arboleros, there's chapters all over the country. Yeah.
Yes, sir. Yeah, so we are in the Western chapter. We take care of Hawaii, uh, Nevada, Arizona, California, of course. Yes, sir.
Gotcha. And so if and those, for those listening and or watching it, depending on how you're taking this content in, arboleros.org. If you're looking for more information, you can head there to get more information on that for finding a local chapter to you or finding out more information about what the organization is doing. And I think it's great too because, like you said, I mean, there's so much information out there, so much education, but I think many times it's not accessible to the folks that it should be accessible to, because of language barriers and things of that nature. Being able to have that, like you said, going through and translating all of that education, all of that content over into Spanish really helps because then it does allow for those who are wanting more education to be able to move up in the ranks, so to speak, and
Right.
wanting to do
Yeah,
kind of your steps.
right. And it starts from the top, you know. It starts from the school, which is the International Society of Arboriculture. So they're doing the right thing, you know. And then from there, our job is to educate not the workers, but the managers, the business owners, those people. We're trying to reach those people so that we can educate them how to take care of their trees. Once we do that, then everything should get in place. They should be training their people, you know. And now there won't be an excuse because now we're translating everything into Spanish so that they can give it to them. And yeah, so that's one of the issues that we see right now that many landscaping companies and tree service companies, they just want to do it quick to get it paid and be out. But you can still get paid, even better paid,
Hmm.
if you are educated and you know what you're doing. You can get better paid, you can do it fast and safe. The the biggest part of it is doing it safe. If you're doing it the safe way, you're gonna be doing everything else the right way. So the right and safe way is to, read the books that the ISA has, TCIA, also how to use your machines, your chippers, your chainsaws.
Yep.
And that's another thing that we're doing here in Arboledos. We're doing these events where we go train the community. We advertise these events. We just had one in San Juan Capistrano in September. We just went to Anaheim, and now we're planning to go to Yosemite in April. And after that, we're gonna be here in San Diego around June. We're still gonna talk about those dates, but we're trying to make this grow, get it known that Arboledos is here to help and make the right thing, educate people so that they can help the trees and our environment.
Yeah.
Yes,
Well,
sir.
and it all helps, it helps the industry as a whole because it helps
Of
generate more
course. Yeah.
respect for this industry. When everyone
Of
gets
course.
the more education everyone gets, the more it brings everyone up in the industry, and it just makes it more of a professional industry, every day when you're out there doing what, the type of things you're doing and being able to share that and spread that to where the business owners that you're talking to, the managers and the owners and everything, they understand that, you know, in order to grow, if they want to grow their companies and they want to get better at what they're doing, it starts with education. Just, as you mentioned, and this is a great way to do that. And it starts, with the fact that um, you've got ISA and other organizations out there that are behind this and trying to help further this. So that's something that in my time in the industry, I think in the last, I'd say even just the last 10 years, really, but even in the last five or so, like that 5 to 10 year gap, there's just so much more education that has been pushed out into the industry, I think, than ever before. It used to be that you just kind of had to learn from years of experience of doing it, and now there's different ways you can do it where you can actually learn before you do it. And I'm not talking about just YouTube or things of that nature, but actually, actual courses, credited courses where you can get certifications. And it's something that is really promoted, and it used to be kind of, I think almost when I was starting out, I remember if you talked about going to take classes or things, you were kind of like laughed at, And it was like, what are you taking classes for? Just go do it,
You nerd. You nerd.
and now it's like, oh, okay. So you're taking classes so that not only can you do it better, but you get better pay, out of it. So that's a big thing.
Now nerd is the new cool.
Right, exactly.
Yeah.
Exactly.
Yeah.
Well, and speaking of nerding out on things, a lot of
Yeah.
people in the industry,
We're tree nerds. Yeah.
yeah, and when you think about different things that you become a nerd about, part of it is learning about how to do things like, taking care of the trees properly. But one of the things I think that gets missed on the environmental side of it is how you're doing that when it comes to the products you're using, right? And we all think about, like,
Yeah.
we've got our trimmers, we've got our loppers, we've got our saws, but what goes into those? How are we maintaining that equipment? And that's, part of the thing that we were talking about today, and bringing on, obviously, with the shirt you've got on. You can see the DGP logo
Yes,
on
sir.
there. You are
Well,
a big fan of DGP and have been with DGP for a while now. What made you start working with DGP?
yeah. So, um, we got introduced to Scott Porter at DGP by our friends, Arbors friends, Mark Goldberg, and another colleague of his. Well, the thing is, when you're trying to do the right thing and you get involved with the right people, everything just falls into place, you know. And that's how we found Scott, trying to do the right thing. Mark Goldberg is he's a very very smart man, and I
Oh,
respect him a lot.
absolutely.
I think you've spoken to Mark before, right?
Yeah, I just had him on the show actually, just recently.
Y- Yeah, yeah, I heard too.
Great
Yeah,
guy.
yeah.
Great guy.
Haven't had the chance to take a look at the podcast. So I'm so busy, of course, like you can say.
Right. Yeah.
But yeah, so we were introduced by Mark. Back in the day, he was working for a landscaping company, and he was looking for an arborist that could take up. smaller jobs because their company was super huge and they could only take big jobs. It only make sense because of the budget to have big jobs.
Oh yeah.
And so all the small jobs that they couldn't do, uh, they were looking for a small company like mine to get those done. So they found me on Yelp actually. They saw my reviews and they looked me up and they called me. We got introduced, doing work for that company since. Now Mark has moved on. He was looking for a job, trying to do the right thing, and that's how he found DGP. And I was introduced to DGP in that way. And Scott Porter drove all the way down here just to show us what he was capable of, the kind of product that he had, the company, the vision, and I fell in love with that. I- I'm all about green, and he showed me that he was that, and not just uh, mindful, but a very smart person that was very capable of doing big things. And I've seen his growth from back in the day till now, and I'm very impressed, and I'm very glad that we got to meet him and be part of Dynamic Green Products. I just have these logos on my shirt because I like how they look and what they represent. I like that to represent me.
Mhm.
I like to be part of that. I am very honored and pleased to show off to people that we are part of Dynamic Green Products, that we have a friendship and collaboration that is not out of greediness, it's not out of ego, it's out of love for the tree service, the green industry, out of love for the environment, for our planet. Like you were saying, we have to be mindful about the tools that we use. We spend maybe thousands, probably hundreds, but maybe even thousands or millions of gallons of petroleum-based products every year just in the industry. I mean, how many companies are out here just in San Diego? Maybe thousands, right?
Sure. Sure.
How many all over the states, all over the world that are using the cheap stuff, the super cheapest that they can get because the company is way too big and they have to budget and they're not being mindful.
Hmm.
You know, again, they're biting way too much, biting more than they can chew, and cheap comes at a price.
Yeah.
It really does. And
It's not just equipment;
our
it's also the
soil,
environment. Yeah.
yeah, our soil is paying the debt. Our soil, our oceans are paying the debt. Right now it's raining. We're I'm glad I'm using dynamic green products right now. I can show you. I can go to the back of my car, my truck, and I have my DGP back there. I, all of my tools are using DGP. Why? Because I'm being mindful. Because right now it's raining. I don't want petroleum going down the drain. That's gonna go into
Yeah.
the ocean. That's gonna go back into the clouds and down into the water that I drink, to the water that the trees drink. And us as arborists, we are mindful about that. But if we really want to do the right thing, then we need to change to biodegradable. Everybody does. And as being part of Arboletos, that's something that I'm trying to uh, educate people about. This next event that we're gonna have here in San Diego, which I'm hosting, I will be talking about chainsaws, chainsaw safety, and that will include using biodegradable only. Only,
Yeah.
it's it's just what makes sense.
Well, it's part of the
It's
safety,
the
right? Especially when it comes to bar oil. I mean, that it doesn't just get onto the trees and the grass and everywhere else. It also gets on you. As you're doing those your day to day.
exactly.
You know, it sprays. It really does. It sprays everywhere. So it gets on
Yeah,
you,
yeah,
and then it goes through your skin. So petroleum is eventually going to have that impact on you. And unfortunately, it's unfortunate that it's. I mean, I say unfortunate, but it's the fact that it doesn't show up right away, right? So
yeah.
but there's a lot of people who think, well, it doesn't matter because I don't know. It's kind of like wearing earplugs as opposed to not wearing earplugs or hearing protection. You don't notice it right away, but then 40 years later, well, in your market, it makes sense too because California, has a lot of restrictions already on different things, noise ordinances and using two-stroke
Right.
engines and things of that nature, wanting to go to battery power and all that. So it's, those type of
Right.
regulations, I mean, they're already prevalent in Europe, a lot of the, Europe,
Yeah.
you
Yeah.
have
Here in California, they're very strict about it. Here in La Jolla, like we're right now, I'm right in La Jolla, California. Coronado, California is also another city that is very strict. Nothing can be combustion. Nothing can be loud. Everything, lawnmowers, hedge trimmers, chainsaws, they all have to be, even blowers, they all have to be
oh,
electric, or else you get fined. Yeah.
yeah,
So it makes sense.
it's coming.
If you're using, right, your Coronado is an island. It's literally an island. So if you're using petroleum based products, where is all that petroleum going? You're using electric chainsaws, right? You're using electric chainsaws. But what's going into that chainsaw to get it done? You know, what brand are you using? That's what you gotta think about. What product are you using? What is it made out of? Well, if you're using DGP oil, you're using soybeans, soybean oil. So what is the best way? Going back and going back into nature with biodegradable green stuff. DGP.
Yeah, no,
Yes, sir.
absolutely, absolutely.
Yeah, you touched the subject about performance. I do want to talk a little bit about that.
Oh, absolutely, yeah.
I I've noticed that I am not changing my chainsaw chains as often. I'm not buying that as often. I am actually saving a lot of money because back in the day it was a chain every job, every project a chain. Right now I haven't changed I haven't even sharpened my blade in maybe a month and a half. My chainsaw is still sharp. It's still sharp. It's still getting it done. It's the bar is clean. The chainsaw's clean.
Yep. That's what I
Usually
like.
you get a
One thing I like is the maintenance on that backside because I'm lazy. I don't like to clean up at the end of the day.
yeah,
After
yeah, yeah, yeah,
working hard all day, the last thing I want to do is have to take care of my saw, and that's the first one of the first things I noticed when I started using DGP was the bar and chain are so much cleaner at the end of the day.
yeah. And like you can notice, I am out there getting it done all day long. I mean, I'm talking about a month and a half of hard production, okay? Where the chain gets really hot, the bar gets really hard and hot.
Yeah,
And that's where DGP wins, even against petroleum-based products, because the 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 capacity that it has to stay thick and sticky. It like you might have another brand that has thicker that looks thicker, like thicker oil,
hmm,
but at what hot how many degrees does it get thin? Because at a certain amount of degrees, it gets thinner. As it gets
absolutely.
hotter, it gets thinner. So DGP actually gets thinner at a higher degree, at a higher fitness,
Yeah,
and
you're looking.
that's where we're winning.
Yeah,
It
absolutely.
allows us to perform for a lot longer and a lot more efficient, and it's saving us money at the end of the day. At,
Yep.
at the end of the year, we see the numbers and it's making sense. I've been using DGP for 3 years. If I started in 2023, it's been 3 years, and I've been saving money. I can show you my balances every year that I do taxes. I've seen that number drop by a lot. Yeah, so it makes sense for all the companies out there. It makes sense for the environment. It makes sense for your budget. So change to DGP. Yes, sir.
That's the way
100%.
to do it, people. That's the way. Listen to Miguel, guys. Listen to Miguel. He knows what he's talking about. Literally, like you said, you do it every single day. High production.
I'm doing it right now. I'm just taking lunch. I'm gonna go back and get it done right now.
Well, thanks so much for taking the time, man. I really appreciate it, and it means a lot. And thank you for being a supporter of DGP, but also doing it the right way. You know, just in your daily duties that you do, you're focused on making sure that you are a steward of the environment and doing what's right for this, you know, this industry and this trade by being a professional all time. So really appreciate that part of it as well. So thank you so much for how you do it every single day.
Yes, sir. Thank you. Thank you. It was a pleasure. And it's been a pleasure.
That is all we got for this episode of Lubrication Across the Nation. Make sure to stay tuned for more. And always follow us on changeyourOil.com, all the socials, all those kind of things. And check out arbaleros.org for more information on that program. Thank you so much, everyone.